Hi, I am Dr. Kim Sage. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I truly am so glad you're here. I have such a passion for these topics and I hope it shows, especially when it comes to understanding attachment wounds and our childhood stories and traumas, often at the hands of very complex and complicated and frankly just wounding childhoods that have left us really struggling with different aspects of ourselves and our lives. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and joining this little growing community. If you check the little box, it will let you know when I post new videos. And please check out these courses I've created truly from my own personal experience as a clinician and as a child of both borderline and narcissistic parents, healing and dealing with your trauma. And you can see my bad nail here, but basically these are filled with all kinds of exercises, journals, meditations, affirmations, journal work, just tons of videos, 75 lessons in that one. This one called Remothered, about how to heal your inner child and the inner parent, because I believe we are both the inner child and the inner parent, and the inner parent and the inner child often both need healing and love, and they also speak to each other. And so how do you set up your life in a way that doesn't just say, you know, I'm worthy, I'm a good little child inside? How do you set it up so that your life looks like a reflection of value inside? And I have one more course posted down below. You'll find the links to Thinkific about identifying things that may have happened to you in childhood. Okay, today's video is about maternal narcissism and how that can impact our tendency to be high achievers. Now, I want to say this is probably gonna, I hope, not be upsetting, but I have found, and I'm pretty sure the research supports parts of this, I know it does in some regards, but that in my experience in working with very high functioning communities, as I have historically, that when a mother has maternal narcissism, mom is a narcissist or has strong traits, that the daughters often struggle, and the sons and the children, whoever they are, or identify, however they identify. I want to keep saying that and make it important here. I'm still learning how to say it the right ways too and respectfully, but whoever you are, you often become hyper-focused on achievement, because that is the only way you were reinforced in childhood. If you had a narcissistic parent, it is all about what you do. It is not about who you are. And it is specifically about who you are and what you do, as long as it reflects what the narcissistic parent, regardless of who they are, what they deem valuable, right? So if dad thinks that Harvard is the only school to go to and everyone else that doesn't go to Harvard is a failure, that's what you'll often internalize and believe yourself. Even if you tell me you don't believe it, deep inside, some part of you, when you go to Princeton, yes, this happens, will tell me it's not as good. I mean, you know, I'm being a little dramatic, but I'm really not. It is crazy how much we internalize what parents think is valuable. And so I want to talk today about the price of high achievers that we pay. And the reason why I'm focusing on maternal narcissism today is because this is often the parent who actually has the most exposure to us. Now, in some households, it's the father or another type of parent, or two types of the same parent, whatever it is. But whoever has that most nurturing, I truly believe whoever has their physical and mental, emotional, the most degree of closeness to the job of parenting to you, is often where the greatest wounds are. Not to disregard the wounds at the hands of the other parent, but if the one who was, you know, the one that was doing the driving and supposed to be taking care of you and checking your report cards and all of that stuff and making you food or not, or expecting you to take care of yourself, that main person truly has the most access to also hurting you as much as helping you. Which is also true for those of you who are struggling to heal. Remember how much power you do have in healing. Don't forget about that. So what happens to you when you have this type of maternal narcissist in your family? Number one, your identity, how you see yourself, often starts with what you do, not who you are. So if I say, tell me about yourself, you will say, well, I'm an attorney and I do blah, 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 right? Your first thing is a label about what you do. Or it might be a label about what you don't do. So you tell me, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. but I did have a degree in, medicine that I actually walked away from. So it's like, well, what is it, right? So your identity is in the fact that you might like being a stay-at-home mom or love it, but you're a failed medical student, right? That even though you hated medicine, that's what happens, okay? Number 2, you are a caretaker. Most often, in some way, you've internalized that making sure everyone else is okay is a great way to take care of yourself. Now, it might just be in pleasing them. It might be an actual caretaking, but you have a very outward orientation on what you do to please others. So the next one is a doer. You are a doer to get love. Either it's doing for yourself or delivering or performing, but that is what you do. That's how you believe that doing, performing, delivering equals love. The next one is you often struggle with chronic mental and or physical health issues, because at the service of always being the best, the brightest, sacrificing yourself to get that A+, your body and your mental health often take a hit, and we often see it in chronic illnesses like autoimmune disease and just IBS, all those types of things. We can see very, very gut-driven issues, very immune system-driven issues, because you're flooding your body with cortisol and wearing yourself out. I don't know what number we are now. The next one, I should say the next one. The next one is you are bad at self-care. In fact, you don't even know what it is most of the time, right? You take care of yourself to survive, but the true act of loving and caring for yourself feels like a foreign concept to you. The next one is you seek external validation. In other words, it always matters what you look like, what you sound like, what you did, that is how you seek approval. It has to come from outside of you in some place, from your Instagram, from your friends, from your boss, from your partner. And along those lines, you often feel like you are an imposter, that you are never what people think you are. So even when you get awards or you do well or you get 5 million likes, it's never enough for you, because it's not about the outside that's wounded. You also have a hard time feeling like you were ever enough, right? So it's just like no matter how much you achieve, it's never as good as whatever somebody else did. Well, I have, 100,000 followers, so-and-so has 200,000 followers, right? So I'm not that great, right? It doesn't really matter, or whatever. I mean, the followers thing is an issue, right? That's the whole thing about that the external world says is valuable. But you will do this around everything. So if you, like I said, went to this law school, someone else went to a better law school, or you got an A, you could have gotten an A+, whatever it is, right? You ran 5 miles, you could have run 10 miles. It's just never enough. You often don't believe in your internal voice. You don't listen to the internal voice. And I think for you, the challenge is, because I believe we are both our internal child, our unhealed child, our little self, and our adult self, that the unhealed child speaks a lot. My dryer's going off. But also the unhealed parent speaks. And so you don't trust the internal voice. It has to first be reflected in the outside world for you to think it valuable. You use achievement to keep yourself emotionally safe and not be too vulnerable. So you build up walls to basically not let people in by the achievements you set, by how you set yourself apart, by how busy you stay. Maybe you're judgmental because you've also internalized that self. But because of all of this outward focus, it keeps you from having to really show up as your emotional and vulnerable self. Because the bottom line is you often feel too uncomfortable with those wounds inside. Or maybe you don't even know who you are because you spent your whole life trying to be that thing that the mother or narcissist or both in your life wanted you to be, or the parent. And so you have yet to carve out your own identity. And in fact, that is something I believe in both these courses, I talk about who are you, right? Is working on what do you love, what do you hate, what are your favorite movies, your foods, your dreams. You'd be surprised at how few of us know who we truly are. And I am still working on the journal I'm making, and that's in there too, like choosing words to describe who you are and having to limit yourself to decide like what are the most valuable things about me. I think that's really hard to do, and unfortunately we spend all these years in school, a lot of the time memorizing things, not learning how to balance a checkbook, invest in the stock market, do our taxes, or learn and discover who we truly are or who we want to be. And also how to be good to other people, how to be kind and caring and empathic, but also boundaried and strong and resilient. That's the stuff that I always say, like, Who cares how smart you are if you don't have any friends or can't make friends because no one likes you, or you don't know how to be nice to people, or you rub people the wrong way because you're so focused on overachievement and being the best that you trample on everyone else beneath your feet, right? It's like, okay, well, now you're at the top, you're up there alone. Like, what's the point of that, right? So I hope this was helpful. I hope you know that if you were raised by a parent like this, through my resources, courses, or anywhere you can find them, it is so important to understand and validate and heal what happened to you, because oftentimes we don't even realize it. And along those lines, I will say quickly, if you actually think that your parent was a narcissist, but they were also like really great and really loving and really kind, but also shared some qualities plus some other ones around emotional and relational instability, please check out my videos on understanding if you might have been raised by an undiagnosed borderline parent, because that is a much more complicated relationship, I truly believe, because the drive to be in a relationship is different for those who have borderline than narcissism. And for most people, it's not always bad. You do get what feels like I call good love. And that can make it really hard to heal and hard to set boundaries. And they're often really needy and you don't want to hurt them. And yet you often feel really strong, negative feelings towards them. They violate boundaries, all of that. So whatever it is, this course goes through it, but you can also search online anywhere. But please get support and resources and know that it can make a world of difference, not just in healing your childhood, but in how you live your adult life. So thanks for being here. Please stay safe and well. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments down below, and know that I truly appreciate you. And I hope you have a good day and take good care. See you next time. Bye-bye.